Welcome back, everyone. We're getting back to this ash pile here. So in the last one of this little mini series, we cut the base of the tree, which was two separate pieces that had fallen apart or come apart. It was previously bolted together, so we had that fun adventure. This is part of a commission job. So the base of the tree was for three like small breakfast dining table things, and then they'd also like to get 3 coffee tables of a crotch from some of this stuff somewhere, smaller coffee tables, and then we're gonna do some end tables made out of cookies. This big limb here has a crazy offset pith, so with it on a bias, it has a really cool sort of growth ring grain pattern thing. So I think this is gonna be the stock for our cookies for the side tables, and then there are some smaller kind of crotch sections in here that we can source our coffee tables from. They don't want super big ones, so something like that would probably be good. This section here might make a cool kind of crotch table. And then there is another sort of crotch area down here with some more metal inclusion. This has got this bolt in it. So another thing I'm gonna try and do is cut a slab out of here with this bolt included. And it's got this limb over here, so there should be some crotch figure in here, and there'll be a bolt chain link thing stick out the side. There's also these 2 crotches which came off the base section of the tree that I'll cut up too. They're gonna be too big for what they're looking for, but at least they should make some really nice crotch figure for something else. All right, so for these, I'm just gonna go through and cut them at, I think 8/4. Well, so we can finish between 1.5 to 1.75 inches. That should be plenty hefty for these little tables. And it's like a bonus piece. just want to take a quick peek at these guys to see what sort of stuff we got going on here. If we got enough crotch. Oh, these are cool. So this one has quite a bit of sapwood still in it because we're towards the outside of the tree, but it's got this great bark inclusion, and we got a little bit of the figuring around the inclusion kind of down in there. Oh, yeah, this is perfect. I think this is more what we had in mind as we were talking, because there's a lot more kind of uniqueness here with some small little limbs making some crotch figure, big bark inclusion into some crotch figure. And one of the concepts I had for these was to make a waterfall table with these limbs here being the legs. So putting a waterfall joint in, let's see if it's an 18-inch tall table. So like a waterfall joint right there. Those fold down to your legs, and this section here becomes your tabletop. You know, that's a 3-foot table right here. So that's a nice little tiny coffee table, side table thing. They have like an area in front of the fireplace they wanted to put it. So they didn't want anything super wide. And this is 12 inches. I think that's kind of like right where they were hoping they would be, like a really narrow, kind of longish table for that area. So I just went ahead and left all this material down here because it's just easier to just cut one long piece than to try and cut this separate from that. So that's like bonus wood down there. There's a closer look at that. You got that crotch figure there, bark inclusion all the way up, some more fun little old limbs and stuff there. And then there's actually some more crotch figure down there. So I think, let's see what the next one looks like. Ooh, that one's got more crotch figure. That could be kind of cool too. Let's just see which one they pick. I told them I'd cut up all this stuff and they can come out and have a look and pick out for real. But this one's got all the crotch figure. We almost got rid of the bark inclusion completely. And you start having this little tiny limb here with some more crotch figure and stuff. That's pretty cool too. Let's have a look in here. It's nothing. It's just clear. It's kind of got some crotch. I'm not sure if they want something for the kids that's not the same size as theirs. Let me show you what this looks like. That is nice, a nice section of crotch. That's for sure. It's just, I don't think it's, unless they want to do just a pretty simple table without a waterfall, or maybe with a waterfall. I mean, it could be something, I don't know. That's what we got. We got some nice crotch feather sitting there, and well, obviously the book matched. So that's a possibility for them. They can pick whatever they want. All right, while I'm running through things, I guess, there's this section here. They had 3 trees removed. This is the base of one of them. It previously had this torn area come off of it. So what I think I'm gonna do with this one is just slice up real quick into stock that would finish at 3 inches thick, because we haven't really decided if we're gonna do like a wood base, or if there's gonna be what kind of wood base, or if we're gonna do a pre-manufactured base for all their different tables. So I want to have some extra stock that's of various thicknesses that I could use for that. So this is going to be cut at, we're going to do 14/4. Yes, 14/4 on this guy. All right, we're going to whack it right in half. Be 2 cuts, one at 7 1/8 and then one at 3 1/2. All right, there's a bunch of thick stock as needed. Yeah, I don't know. Bonus wood. A little bit of rot in this one, but otherwise it's fine. So that'd be good. Good to have that thicker stock for base stuff. I'm gonna face off these are the bigger crotches from the main tree. This is pretty rocky. Oh man. All right, that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. We're gonna be all set up to saw these guys in the morning. 16 feet of crotch. Good morning, everyone. It's a crazy beautiful day today. It's mid-November. It's about 60 degrees, and I'm gonna be taking off this sweatshirt pretty soon and being a t-shirt. A t-shirt outside mid-November and being perfectly comfortable. Here in Minnesota, kind of a weird thing, so I'm taking advantage of being outside today. I got this piece of cherry out of the log pile. It's been sitting there for a long time. I figured might as well toss it up there too while we're slicing. So, you know, once you get everything set up, you just make your cuts and you got a whole bunch of slabs and whatnot. That's some good short stuff that can get loaded into the vacuum kiln, because I need to fill entire layers in there, and you need to have like little offcuts and things to nest around goofy shapes like crotches. So I'm gonna get to it. Can't wait. It's beautiful today. Let's take a quick look at some of these guys, since they should be kind of interesting. This is the, sorry, I can't write and think at the same time. Write and talk at the same time. This is the smaller one that was towards the front of the saw. This outside one's pretty boring, so we're going to skip it. Oh yeah, we got some nice feather on these guys, or at least on this one for sure. It's got some really nice feather through here, and this one just has a little bit of figuring here in the sapwood with little bits of heartwood popping through. This one, or that one, both of them look like they got, oh yeah, holy, look at that. That's some great feather. Did you look at that? That's a lot. So is this. Also a lot. 7-footers. About 19 wide through here, and then up here, 31 wide. 19 down here too. So nice and consistent width down here, and we got a nice bed of feather and whatnot up there. This is the bigger one. It's got this cool pruning cut right there. Let's just toss this over here. Oh, another pruning cut. This one's got a bark inclusion instead of a heavy crotch feather. So just a little bit of feathering here. And this one's got some kind of, a little bit of figuring around a bark inclusion kind of thing going on. These are a bit wider. There's that pruning cut. Whoop. Slinging slabs. All right, let's see what we got here. This has actually got a really cool bark inclusion in it. Yeah, a little bit of figuring up here, and then this really is like fully encapsulated bark inclusion all the way down there. A bunch of like old limbs down here. And then the bark inclusion comes out. So it's no longer encapsulated like that is up there. This has got the open top on it. I think these ones are the same length. Pretty close to it. Like a little bit over 7 foot. So like a few inches longer than the other one, but basically the same width, or length, I mean. And these are 21 down here, 20 sort of this narrow area here, and 38 up there at the splay. All right, so that's those ones. On the to-do list still, I have this guy with the chain eye hook link thing in it. Before I go risking what's left of this blade on this log, I got this guy up here. This is one of the other trees that they had removed. This is all of 14 feet long, and it's not super straight, but it's pretty straight. So I'm gonna go through and cut this up to kind of get it out of the pile. That's a little bit of a bonus piece. Super long stuff isn't like a big seller or common seller, so I don't typically do a whole lot of long stuff, just because of the fact that it's kind of an annoyance to deal with when they get like 12 foot's pretty long, but like over that, 14s or 16s, it's so much more handling and work to find a place to store them and dry them and then inventory them. They're that much more work, but I don't have a whole lot of super long stuff, so this would be good for like if someone wanted a bar top someday or a really long book match table. I think this is wide enough to do either of those. So this will go into inventory as super long stuff for future stuff, in case someone needs 14 footers for something. All right, we'll take a look at those in a little bit. Let's see, let's see how this goes. Let's go this way. This is going to be interesting. Hopefully I can get that chain link in plane. It's heavy. There we go. Seems like it's parallel. Okay. Oh boy. That seems good. Let's face it at least. Okay, so that's 3 inches thick. Pull this out of the way. I don't see anything, but it's got some fun crotch. Yeah, I think that's got some great figure in it. And then you got this thing on the live edge. We'll see if they like that. This was a let's saw it and see how it looks kind of thing. I love it. Look at that pruning cut with the heel. It starts to compartmentalize and encapsulate that old limb. The grain just grows right around it. Love that. Okay, so the only thing left on the for sure to cut list is going to be the cookies off of here. Because I like this bias cut on here quite a lot, so it makes it more of an oval shape, which I think is great. In order to cut that on the sawmill, I was thinking like I could make like a cookie log holder clamp thing, because it's different than just a squared off end. You can clamp that pretty easily. Like this, it's got lean on it too, but I don't really feel like doing that right now, and I'm the one who's going to be flattening these, so I'm just going to come through with the chainsaw and make my cookies freehand. I think this is going to be quicker and easier for me at this point in my life. But the chainsaw is dull, so I'm going to go sharpen that real quick and then take care of those. All right, well, we'll see how this goes. I used to be a lot better with a chainsaw. And then I stopped using one for years, for everything. think I got better as I went. The general thing is you plant the dogs and you just let it swing through so they all stay plumb. Yeah, that one's pretty consistent. This within probably 1/4 inch all the way around. That one seems pretty good too. Yeah. The first ones were kind of rough. They're kind of all over the place, but these ones are good. With these, you know, they're gonna crack and split and whatever, so we only need, this is a bad one, we only need 3. So I figured I cut at least 9, which is what I did. I counted right, I guess, counted correctly. So I'll get those prepped to go for drying, and then when it's time to make side tables, you just pick your favorite. Just had the clients out for a quick meeting to have a look through things and to get some direction on where they think they want things to go. So these guys here, kind of as I thought, these they want for the coffee tables with some sort of waterfall type joint, probably just a single waterfall and then a secondary leg type situation. And then we got into talking about the dining tables as well. So they're really excited about the stuff we cut last time. I got a direction for the which face they want for the show face, so I can start finishing that up and getting those done. And we started looking at base designs for those tables, which were leaning towards a trestle type of design. So we have all of this stuff over here, which is kind of thick enough for some of the parts. And then because I cut it, of course, fortunately, we got some thicker stuff back there for the rest of the base as well. Also, maybe some kind of bench to go with the tables, and those guys over there, the more uniform ones, those would be pretty good little bench seat top things. As far as these things, they're pretty excited about the cookies because they got, as I got further into the log, it was actually being a crotch, so it was like 2 pits in those, and you have the oblong shape, so I think that's a really cool look. And we're not sure what we're going to do with this one yet with the chain link in it, but one of the kids wants that for who knows what yet. Either a coffee table or some other thing. But regardless, now I can start working my way through all this mess. I'm going to get these guys put away first. The crotches from the main trunk of the tree, since they're too big for what they want to do anyway, they can just get stacked and put away. And then the stuff over there needs to get dried at a little more hastily rate than this stuff does. I'm starting to get these longer ones stacked and stickered. So let's, wow, that's very clear. This here. Look at this. Got this great bark inclusion in the crotch. An old pruning cut where that limb was cut off, and then you can see how the tree encapsulated around that wound, with some fun crotch figure around it. And then as you kind of walk down through here, you got a few little limbs here and there, but for the most part, pretty clear. Kind of the same thing over here, except more, more clear. Like nothing, 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 nothing. We got a few knots here, and then we get up into this crazy looking crotch bark inclusion thing up here. Nice. For some dimensions, these are what, 3 inches thick? Is that what I cut this at? Yeah, 12/4. (14'4". That's a lot of wood. This one's like 20 inches wide. The narrowest here is about 17. And then our splay up here at the crotch, 30.5. Probably the same thing on this side. This is 19, 18, and 19. All right, let's see. I can't quite throw 14 feet apparently. And now lastly, I can get all this stuff stacked and put away to dry. And we'll pick up on this mini series in the future when I start building all these pieces of furniture. I will likely start making the coffee tables first because that material is a bit thinner and should be dried a lot sooner unless we decide to use some of the thicker material for a base, in which case it'll be at the same time as the dining tables. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the Sawmill or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.